Shalom and welcome to our weekly ICEJ webinar. I'm David Parsons of the Christian Embassy, coming to you live from our Jerusalem studio, and so glad to have you today. We've got a really hot, important topic, summing up the Israel-Iran war, what President Donald Trump called the 12-day war that started on the 13th of June on Friday and ended on Tuesday morning, the 24th of June. So as we look at this, our guest who's going to help us sort out what happened and what's the fallout, what are the ramifications, our good friend Yigal Carmon, the founder and president of MEMRI, the Middle East Media Research Institute. Good to see you, Yigal.
Good to see you, David.
Yes. And you were on a month ago, we were asking, is there an alternative to war? You were advocating supporting all the minority groups in Iran, the Azeris, the Baloch, and the Kurds, and the Arabs. Okay. But we've had a war now. Again, Dr. Carmon was in Israeli military intelligence, achieved the rank of colonel. So he's been in the intelligence field, assessing, making, and analyzing all the intelligence, has that experience, was an advisor on counterterrorism to Prime Ministers Yitzhak Rabin, has been with MEMRI since he founded it in 1998, and he has briefed the U.S. Congress, the State Department, the Pentagon, the FBI, the National Security Council, the European Union, the European Parliament, NATO, all sorts of important institutions and peoples about terrorism and the Middle East. It's good to have you back today.
Thank you.
All right, we first want to give a little summary on this war, and I'll first start it with Prime Minister Netanyahu. I asked this question of our guest last week. Netanyahu has been really highlighting the danger and warning, almost like Churchill and the Nazis standing alone in some ways here at the UN all the way back September 2012. They're up to 60-70% with enriching uranium. It's just a small step to that 90% weapons grade. This is more than a decade ago, where every time he went in front of the United Nations, there was year after year, he hardly ever mentioned the Palestinians at the opening assembly when all the world leaders go there to give their addresses, and he always highlighted the danger of the Iranian nuclear program. And, people thought he might take action earlier. He finally took some. We'll let you talk about that at some point. But here he is on Thursday. This would have been the 12th of June, putting a prayer in the Western Wall with his kippah, his prayer shawl on, he put the note in, taken from Numbers, the Balaam prophecies, the book of Numbers, chapter 23 in the Bible, in the Torah, the books of Moses. It's a passage that says, "For there is no sorcery against Jacob, nor any divination against Israel. It now must be said of Jacob and of Israel, oh, what God has done. Look, a people rises like a lioness and lifts itself up like a lion. It shall not lie down until it devours the prey." Okay, and then we have Operation Rising Lion, launched on the night of Friday, early in the morning, 3 a.m. Friday, June 13, and started what turned out to be a 12-day war. I'm a little surprised myself how it only ended there. We'll let you comment on that, Yigal. But as we go forward, 25 plus senior military commanders killed, many of them in the first hours. This is a big banner in Tehran in tribute to some of the, not only the military commandment, but the nuclear scientists there are considered rock stars. They're very popular, and about 12 to 15 top nuclear scientists. We don't know exactly how many, but a lot of them in the first few hours. One important one, the last day or so of the battle. 12 different nuclear sites important to Iran's nuclear program were targeted. And of course, Fordo, Natanz, Isfahan, the three most important, but all of them targeted. It takes a lot of different stages to develop a nuclear weapon. And Israel says they, with U.S. help, hit all of 12 main sites, the ballistic missiles factories and stockpiles, because it had risen to a strategic threat against Israel, not just the nuclear threat, but the ballistic missile. They hit regime symbols, especially in Tehran. Really surprising how they quickly gained air superiority over the country, and especially over Tehran, which had all sorts of air defense systems. This is, I think, an iconic image of the conflict. It's an oil depot in Tehran that Israel bombed, and you have these flags. It's a Reuters photo that just quite stunning. The photographer in the right place at the right moment. This photo is all over. I think it's one of the lasting images of this particular war. They have this proud display of these flags. I think there's around 12 flags in a row in some plaza, and behind it at night, the oil depot in utter flames there. This is, we'll probably come back to this slide, all the nuclear sites, 12 in particular that have been hit. One of them, Parchin up there, is where they were working on detonators, and they found uranium at like 80% purity, some traces of it that the International Atomic Energy Agency found. That it's not talked about as much as Fordo, Natanz, Isfahan. Arak, A-R-A-K, is where they do the heavy water, trying to create heavy water for a plutonium bomb. But two questions that are coming out of it. How badly damaged is Iran's nuclear program? Did they get all of these sites enough to really set them back a number of years or a decade or more? Because that's how you would assess how long have you set them back, and where are the 400 plus kilos of 60% uranium? Were they destroyed at some of these sites? Or here, this is a satellite photo of this line of trucks in the middle of the war, like 18 trucks outside the one of the entries to the Fordo. Were they carting this up? Was Israel? That we don't really know yet. It's not at least been made public whether they were able to get some of that away. We'll see if Yigal has a comment. On the Israeli side, there were around 550 plus ballistic missiles, big, heavy missiles coming at Israel. We were getting wave after wave, day and night. Most of them shot down or allowed to fall in open areas, but there were around 40 serious impacts, most of them in urban areas. They fired 1,000 drones. Most of them flying low, coming in through Beit Shean, through the Yarmouk Valley there and other areas. Only one house hit in Beit Shean by a drone. So Israel's drone game is very good, and the Israeli drones being fired by Mossad agents and even IDF commandos inside Iran, and even a drone factory in Iran. Israel really had a real card up their sleeve, and their drone game is excellent. But there were 28 Israelis killed, 3,000 wounded, 23 still in serious condition, 10,000 homeless. And our aid team was here in Bat Yam, where a missile hit the 6th floor of this 12-story building and sheared off the whole side. and around 70 some apartment buildings in the area suffered almost total destruction. There were 2,300 people left homeless from this place alone. And our aid workers, Nicole Yoder, Yanni Tolhook, they've been around a while. They've seen some serious disaster sites, Yigal, but they said they were in real shock at all the gutted homes, the flipped cars, the mounds of rubble in every direction that you look. So these were, very serious. But here, Prime Minister Netanyahu going back to the Western Wall and praying one more time. This is after President Trump ordered the dropping. It was before the end of the war, but when President Trump ordered U.S. B-2 stealth bombers to drop these heavy bunker buster bombs on the 3 nuclear sites that needed to be taken out. And he went and thanked Hashem, thank God, at the Western Wall. But Yigal, this has been dizzying, 12 days, and this long anticipated confrontation between Israel and Iran is now sort of behind us. Maybe this is the first of many, but were you aware of anything that was about to happen? And let's get your read of what's the fallout from all this.
Well, first of all, David, if you allow me, I want to express my huge appreciation to President Trump. He excels to moral heights unknown since World War II in preventing the Iranian regime of Ayatollahs from simply finishing up a whole country, Israel. This was an act of courage unknown in modern history. And not only Israel and the Jewish people and the Christian owe him, but all of humanity in Western civilization owes him and is indebted to him for this act. This is number one. Now, I want to talk about memory's particular contribution.
Okay.
The threat was there all the time. The IDF Intelligence Corps and the government, in a special announcement, mentioned what tipped the scale. And what tipped the scale about knowing that this is the time and there is no time left was an interview by a scientist, but he was the head of the Iranian nuclear organization. In the past, Israel tried to stop him. He recovered, and in an interview that he gave in May, and we published it, he explained that they are ready, that they can do it. He said, if Khamenei tells me to construct a bomb, I will do it. Moreover, he said, we can build a small bomb that will not qualify as WMD, but could destroy a whole military camp.
A tactical nuke.
Yes, this was a aha moment for our intelligence. It's always tough
memory monitors not only Arabic language media and what officials are saying, Farsi,
Urdu,
Turkish,
and also Russian and Chinese.
But Farsi, Persian, you monitor the Iranian state TV.
If I may, our information by the Israeli intelligence and by the statement of the government was the one that tipped the scale to understand that this is it. This is the moment.
This is what they presented to President Trump?
I don't know, but clearly it was presented to him. He also said, I know he said it about Tulsi Gabbard, he said, we know. And always intelligence of intentions is the toughest thing.
Yes.
And memory provided the intentions by this I couldn't call him John, murderer, who was finished off, who said, we can do it tomorrow morning, we can do it. And we can do also a small bomb that could deal with the military camp, of course with the city, of course with anything. This was memory. We deserve support from the whole
Yes.
Christian world.
Kol hakavod for your alertness, your vigilance.
By the admission of the government and the intelligence corps. This interview, I am told that in the war room there was our video with memory.
There it is.
With him speaking.
Yeah.
And
what's the guy's name again?
Freydun Abbasi.
Okay.
Freydun Abbasi. I'll send you maybe.
Okay.
You'll show it at some point.
We have to find this video.
Yes. I'll send it to you. It's so scary, his video. He says, we can do it tomorrow. We can do it. And we are ready. And no place should be immune. And they all should go, and they should leave, and they should, all kinds of cruel, insane talk. We can finish them off now. And this is what the military intelligence says. This is what tipped the scale, that we understood that we had hesitations. We didn't know how to interpret many things. There was a lot of intelligence. But this tipped the scale. Here we understood there is no time left. This is memory.
This wasn't just boasting. This was outing their intent.
Yes, outing the intent. And he was the best guy to speak about it because he was the head of the nuclear organization of Iran.
Yes.
So this was memory's contribution that the whole... Anyway,
but he got taken out by...
Yes, he got taken out. Of the first. The story of the intelligence was that there was a forum that scales the scientists.
Yes.
Who's important, who's less important.
He was number one.
He was number one. He was number one.
Because he was the one talking to the regime leadership itself about what...
Yes, and that we are ready, and we can do it. And we can do it different scale.
The order would have been passed through him. Okay.
Big one, small one, we can do it. And if Ayatollah Khamenei tells me, I can do it right away.
Yeah, there was talk, it's been revealed that there was a date set in April, but it got called off and Bibi had to postpone it. But then once this interview is there's no question you have to do it now.
You have to do it now.
And the IDF Chief of Staff, Eyal Zamir, he said, point of no return. We're at the point of no return.
When the man says we can do it now and we can do any scale, any level, any size, that's it.
Even tactical news.
Even tactical.
Yeah.
And so if we have any hesitation about the big bomb, we can do a small one also.
So you think Israeli intelligence would be following the Iranian media, but thank God you're doing it.
No. It's memory who does it, and I claim credit of our hard work and of all support.
You deserve our support. MEMRI.org, memory.org. Yes. Okay.
Now, I want to say that other than the huge blow that they got, the situation after the war is much more complicated. Namely, by what do we measure the failure, or the winner and the victor and the loser? So I suggest three measures. Number one, of course, they were hit hard, but they can begin from scratch. And that's what they are going to do. And they say it, we published.
They know the path, they know the process, and it might be faster this time.
Some of them are learning in the West, and we go all over again.
But you agree, severe damage to their program.
Severe damage.
There's a lot of stages you have to go through.
Amazing blow militarily.
Yeah.
However, David, a result of a war is measured by several criteria. Number one, the political result. Has the regime of wicked, insane people gone?
No.
No. They stayed. They survived.
And President Trump is even saying we don't want to topple them because we want stability.
I'll get to that. All they needed to prevail is to survive, not to be because we hit them.
Arafat did this all the time, head of the PLO. Even if he escapes dressed as a woman in humility, victory, they survive.
And he needs to survive. And the Iranians are going to begin all over again. We published today a report where they tell President Trump, against your will, we will continue, we will enrich, and death to America. And in the parliament, they took a decision to leave it NPT, some crazy decision.
Yes.
At the sound of members calling death to America, Mark Bar America, Mark Bar, death to America.
The diehards.
These are all the members of the Majlis of the parliament. So by that criteria, they survived. Now another criteria. What is their status among the masses, or also the regimes in the Arab and Muslim world? Tragically, their status, or the way the other approach them, is with respect and submission.
That they stood up to Israel and America?
To two world powers, America and Israel. And they stood. And they can begin again. Respect and submission.
Is this what you're hearing on the Arab media?
Yes, they say it, of course, and they say, and for example, the Emir of the Emirates, the United Arab Emirates,
which has relations with Israel, Abraham Accord.
He goes, it's like going to Canossa. He goes to the Emir of Qatar, who is the ally of Iran, to kiss his head.
Kawadari, what's his name?
It's Mohammed bin Zayed.
Yes.
Goes to the Emir Tamim to kiss him. Tamim doesn't kiss back. He stands tall. Only that guy kisses him. It is submission.
This is the head of the Sunni Muslim Brotherhood who has ties to Iran.
Yes.
Cooperates, Sunni Shiite cooperation.
The Qatari Emir. And the Emir of the Emirates, who made peace with Israel, has to go to him in submission.
In abeyance.
Yeah.
Yes.
And all the Arab states only attacked Israel. Not one of them said anything of...
Is this like played on the on the air of Arab television, and people understand the symbolism?
Yes, of course, of course. They understand the political symbolism 100%. So that is the second criterion. The third criterion, are they going to stop with this nonsense? Well, President Trump says they have to stop. And they say, no, we will never stop. We will continue, and you can do nothing to us. Now, will the president go for another bombing? It's tough. Why is it so difficult? Because President Trump, in his approach to Iran, he told them 100 times, no nuclear and we'll be friends. We'll accept you. We'll make you MAGA. I don't know, such things. But this approach to Khamenei after the war gives him immunity. Now Khamenei is the most immune guy in the region. Israel cannot touch him. Why isn't President Trump continuing to finish off this evil regime? Because chaos will create rise in oil prices.
He wants stability for the sake of oil prices.
Europe wants stability, low and stable oil prices. he does what is good for America.
It's sort of the lesson when you took down Saddam Hussein, the commission
No
that studied
more
that war. You messed with the balance between Iraq and
No more
Iran.
experiments in democracy and I don't know what. The Europeans who have this nice talk about values of liberalism and oh my God, no. They like dictators, they work with dictators, and that's the only thing that matters for them. And this is unfortunately also, now there are the midterms. And what is Trump supposed to do? To lose them by high prices of oil if he creates total instability?
In a year and a half, he's got midterm elections that for his last 2 years he doesn't want to have
there will
minority
be
in
time
Congress.
in the future. The man who had the courage, unknown since World War II, 100 years, to stand up to evil, he will stand up to evil again and again. But right now, he gives them a chance, another chance. Behave yourself. Stop this nonsense with the nuclear.
So this is a very sober assessment by someone who has looked at this game, played this game for decades. And I tell you, it's a little different. I mean, we're sort of, it's not a euphoria victory. People aren't dancing in the streets here in Israel, but they feel they won because within 48 hours they had complete control of airspace over Iran, blowing up everything they wanted, but it would have taken a lot longer to finish the job off. And meaning you'd have to absorb some more of these Iranian missiles, but they're slowly running out of them. And these missiles were tough, but Israel overall, the people think they won. But you're right. In the Middle East, if you survive against the West, Israel, America, whatever, you can claim victory. And you're saying they've actually gained respect in the eyes of even moderate Arabs in the United Arab Emirates.
Yeah. And they have
the Saudis.
And they have the chutzpah, the audacity to tell Trump, death to America, we will continue.
Yeah, very defiant. I mean, I think I can expect that, but Yigal, this is a little different. I think the fact that they gained total air superiority, dominance in the air there, and could do what they want. Israel needs to go back now and look at how they can deliver more firepower this way in the next war, which is simply
we are beginning the countdown for
to the next war and how to
defend
defend the homeland better.
It may take years, but it will continue. Circumstances will change, but basically, apart from hitting their capabilities, their present capabilities, nothing was achieved.
But you give high marks for Israeli intelligence and the Mossad, knowing where these guys lived, listening to someone like you and paying attention to what you're putting out. That they did on the ground incredible job there, and
amazing
hasn't
job.
That humiliated the regime there though? That's what most analysts will say.
I'm asked about it all the time, and people tell me, haven't they been humiliated? This is a Western criterion.
Here there's shame and honor.
They stood to the superpowers of this world.
So you honor them.
They managed to stand up to them, and they can continue. What is the humiliation? That those superpowers are stronger?
Yeah,
it was known that they are stronger.
You're sobering us up here with this
I know
assessment.
many Israelis, I wrote about this criteria, and many Israelis were so surprised that that I put it, I am sure also in America it will be published today. People will, what? We didn't win big?
So you think Israel stopped too soon?
Well, all is circumstantial. I mean, we stopped where we had to stop. President Trump had to stop. He made the courageous decision.
But Israel was openly saying, we're ready to stop now, once he dropped those bunker
President
buses.
Trump demanded it from Israel, and Israel wisely accepted it. Because an act like what President Trump did is unheard of historically.
Yeah.
Of course we have to accept his request.
Mm-hmm.
Of course we have to, even if it means that we go all over again from
Yeah.
the beginning in 10 years, in 7 years, in 5 years, in 12 years.
Let me ask you this. Israel's always had a policy, America, give us the weapons and we will defend ourselves by ourselves. We won't ever ask American soldiers to go into harm's way, which is different than most other U.S. allies that say we need American troops here. Israel says we will fight this battle ourselves. But here, this is breaking that long-held taboo by asking the U.S. to come in and do one job, an important job, but one job that Israel wasn't quite capable of doing it. And what are the ramifications of that?
Two things, David. Number one, Israel didn't ask for it. The president has all the credit. He decided to give the Iranians and others the clear message,
It's a message.
No nuclear. This is not only for Iran.
Mm.
This is for many others.
Which is also Israel's policy.
Yes.
We will never allow a potential foe in the region to have weapons of mass
And
destruction.
of course in Latin America and everywhere, America will not allow nuclear weapons. This was a decision by the president. He deserved, I can hardly find words to describe how much appreciation he deserves. Having said that, the capabilities are there. This dictator, I call him Bin Laden Munir, the president, he's not president, he's the chief of staff of Pakistan. They have nuclear power. What do you do about him? He's a jihadist. He's an ally of Iran. The Iranians may buy from Pakistan elements, equipment. But also I want to say about this rule that you mentioned, had we been given this
Bunker
weapon
busters.
of B-2, we would not need America.
Yeah.
Only the
Did
plane,
Israel ask for it?
It's tough to discuss
They've asked
it.
for bunker busters, but not that big. They don't have
It's
the platform
tough
to
discuss
deliver
it,
the
but,
15 ton.
If America, it's not that Israel didn't want it and to deal with their problems alone. It's that America kept this weapon for herself.
Yeah.
If America gives that weapon to Israel, there will be no need for American troops. It's by default, not by...
Yeah.
yeah.
Israel has bunker busters, but they're not quite as big. They used 80 of them to blow up Nasrallah's bunker in Beirut, and even then,
Yeah, it was
but they don't have this 15-ton big boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think when you say it's complicated, we have to throw into this whole equation what you mentioned, the free flow of oil, which America sort of guarantees and has since the end of World War II.
Yes.
The free flow of oil, which all that Iranian and Arab oil is mainly going to China right now. America is self-sufficient. Europe's getting a lot from Russia, and it's paying the price.
But the prices are affected by all
The
that.
prices are affected, but everyone wants stability, including Russia. Russia might want some because it drives up the price and they get more money. But China wants, they need that steady supply of oil, and it means if you've got these balance of powers here and you can keep everything stable, then the Iranian regime stays in place. That is a sad, sad state of affairs.
And there are Pakistani, and all the Arab, and the Qatar, and all of them dictatorships from another world.
Yeah.
Yes. But what I wanted to add, that in this situation with regard to the oil and the midterms, it's all temporary. The president has to win the midterms. There is a need to pass a period of time, give them a chance. The president always gives a chance. And if they don't stop and they keep going with their threats and deaths to America, my God, he said it in his speech, what is this death to America for years? What have we done? Why are you attacking us? And the number of attacks on Americans through proxies, through terrorists.
The U.S. owed Iran a blow like this, and much more.
Yeah, much more. Yeah.
All right, we have some questions from our viewers. We'll pass by you here. One of them, someone from Hong Kong, is asking: Is there a chance that this we'll start seeing exchanges again soon? How fragile is this ceasefire?
Well, Israel will keep it because the president wants it. Mm-hmm. But you don't have control over the Iranians. If they begin a crazy behavior of shooting at us, at the end, even the president will say that's too much. Mm-hmm. He stopped us from retaliation just on the last day of the war. He stopped us. He said there was a violation, but it was technical. No, it wasn't technical. It was a violation, and it was 52 Israeli planes, but there were tens of drones. Yeah. And we did not respond because the president asked very forcefully, don't respond, go back. And he was happy about it, and we owe him big, so we did it. But if the Iranians will continue, they will get him mad. And he will say, guys, you got all your chances, enough is enough.
Yeah, everyone had to bend to Donald Trump's will in this ceasefire. Yeah. But, there's several questions here. I think summarize the question. There's differences between, say, even within the U.S. intelligence community. Some of these sources are telling CNN and New York Times it's only set back a few months. Trump says it's obliterated. Even some Israeli intelligence sources telling some papers it's really not that much, but others, Prime Minister Netanyahu saying their nuclear program is down the drain. So where are you? Do you trust this latest assessment by Israel's Atomic Energy Commission that there has been severe damage to the whole program?
Absolutely. And I don't know, those who say it wasn't really damaged, what interest they have in that. The pictures speak for themselves. I've seen the picture. It's total obliteration. Now, of course, having said that, can they rise from the rubble and rebuild it? Of course they can. It will take their time. So it will all be so much more difficult. It will all be so much more complicated for them. Months or years, and what we are going to keep silent and look at them rebuilding it? No. And the president will not. He told them time and again in action and talk, don't go there. If they go there, he said it. He will continue. Israel will continue. So it doesn't matter much how many. It was an immediate threat. No more immediate threat. We will see
We've
everything.
Got some breathing space till the next birth pang.
I'm really amazed is not the word, by those who are so happy to say, well, it wasn't really, look at the pictures. It was huge, total obliteration.
And the intelligence communities have the really close-in, magnified views where it's huge caverns going in the ground.
Those
and it's
who
all
say it
blown
wasn't
out.
really are betraying their professional.
And I think the corollary of this, President Trump, by taking out, doing those major hits on Fordo and Isfahan and Natanz to really make sure they're flattened, that he now has added leverage over Netanyahu if he didn't have it before. And in order to get the Abraham Accords, which the U.S. is now interested in, what is it going to cost in terms of, say, solving the Gaza problem and the whole question of Palestinian state? Is Israel going to have to cede to Trump's demands on this?
Okay, Trump's demands are conditional. He puts condition, even not the Israeli one, but he has conditions of his own to Gaza, to the release of the hostages. And Hamas is behaving like crazies.
Yeah.
They don't take the chance given to them. So even President Trump will say, well, how can we deal with that? This is beyond anything understandable, and they will not get what they want. They are not, in a way, they are going back to Iran. And Iran tells them, show strength, don't, we are standing tall, what are you doing? Stand tall, don't collaborate with them, don't. Also, talking about the Abraham Accords, there is a notion in Israel that now it will be enlarged to include
Saudi Arabia.
This is, I don't know who spreads that, it's propaganda. If at all, I pray that the Emiratis stay in the Accords. The Saudis are never going to join. Now, after Iran stood firm in face of this attack, they will not. None of the other. This is a total misunderstanding of the results as far as the Arab Muslim world is concerned. In the Arab Muslim world, despite all the losses, they feel respect and submission to Iran. And that means there will be no enlargement of the Accords. Now, why? Saudi Arabia and the Emirates cannot do anything that Iran, that the regime of those Ayatollahs doesn't like, because their oil facilities may be hurt with 1 or 2 missiles and gone. And it's not that America is standing there. America now is with stability, namely with Khamenei. So they are locked. Saudi Arabia and Iran are locked. They cannot do anything. Khamenei is there. He threatens them. They know it, the Houthis, the others, the militias in Iraq. And if they do something that Iran doesn't like, their oil resources will be gone. So they go in line.
It doesn't take much to close the Strait of Hormuz, where 20% of the world's oil
I would say
goes.
that the Strait of Hormuz are safer than the oil resources of Saudi Arabia.
They had a chance.
Because the Straits of Hormuz are the pathway for Iran itself. So what are they going to close it on themselves? No.
You do that as a last desperate act. If that really happened.
Of suicide.
Yeah.
Of suicide. But they can hit the resources of Saudi Arabia and the Emirates in the peninsula. And that doesn't cost them anything. Just if they don't behave, if they talk of enlarging the Abraham Accord, boom, no oil.
I do believe there's, some of the incentive for these so-called moderate Arab states to make peace with Israel is the Iranian threat, not only nuclear, but to the oil. But there's a law of diminishing returns here, that the more Israel or America reduces the Iranian threat, the less the Arabs are going to be dependent on, say, Israel to help protect them.
It's so complicated, but the last thing to expect is that the Abraham Accord will be enlarged. I pray that the Emiratis don't get out of it or freeze it.
Yigal, you're telling me things that I actually don't want to hear. I want to hear the victory. I want to hear the good, positive, and in a way, I do think many good things accomplished out of this, but it's good to have someone like you who's been in this field for decades. You were right about October 7. You warned about it a month ahead of time.
And this interview of Abbasi,
this
was the second
trigger.
October alert, the second alert that says it's now. They are ready. And we claim credit, and it was given to us by the state of this.
We appreciate having you. We appreciate this sobering assessment of where we are. It is true, Iran has survived to fight another day. They are defiant, and we have to admit that, and they're going to fight on. And Israel it just has to keep its guard up and not make any, have the right diplomatic follow-up here, but don't make concessions.
No. I want to say again, I know it's not the right program, but we take credit for this specific alert of intentions, and we deserve all support in the world for this early warning, like the October 7th. This was one in a generation.
Last question, it's putting a couple questions from our audience together, but you were here a month ago recommending support for these other minorities in the country, even a lot of Persian people, Iranians themselves, not just the Kurds and the Azeris and all these minority groups, the Arabs, to support them in trying to bring down this regime. That it couldn't happen while Israel was firing, but it looks like the regime is digging in its heels and focusing right now on suppressing any dissent.
Yes.
And the West is not ready because there's no united figure. The son of the Shah might be respected in the West. How respected is he in Iran? Is there any unifying figure? Will it take years to try and build up, or is the army, within the Iranian army, is there some chance they could rise up?
Well, first of all, in order to have a real uprising, you need leadership. You need money, food, you need weapons. None of this exists in the hands of the Farsi's anti-regime.
The dissidents.
Now, the dissident. Now, regarding the minorities, neither the United States nor Europe wants any instability, at least for the time being. We will see in the future. For the time being, they get no support, and no one is ready to lend them support, because that means chaos and high oil prices. The moment there is an uprising, it's a chaotic situation, and that immediately affects the oil prices. So we have to wait first for the midterms, because if we lose President Trump's capability to act, it will be a disaster for the world, for the whole world. So this is number one. Now, this is also a chance for them, but they cannot do much at this point. They cannot do without support of the world, of the free world. They can do without America's support, and this support is not given. America is right now, I stress, right now, going with the dictators. There is no other choice to survive the threat of those regime terrorists to strike the oil of Saudi Arabia and the Emirates. What do you do then? This is a problem. So to make a plan to prevent that threat and to create a new reality in the Arab and Muslim world, that's far bigger goal and target than just to hit the nuclear.
I think what you're painting, it is the reality of recent decades and in the foreseeable future, that support for, you got a choice between supporting this little tiny state of Israel or the Arab oil powers. And without the Christian influence in America, maybe America would have abandoned. It's just telling all our audience, the Christians out there, not only a matter of prayer, but speaking out and standing in support of Israel, because that is the choice world leaders have and will continue to face.
And for the values of freedom and democracy and progress, and this is what the Christians Israel is standing for.
Yes. So keep standing strong for Israel I think, in my assessment, this is a victory in many ways, but we got to stay sober and our hands to the plow, keep supporting Israel, keep standing with it. We'll see what happens. A very interesting time. 12 incredible days. We lived through it. We survived. Jerusalem, it wasn't so bad here, thank God, but down in Tel Aviv and all, those people really had a harrowing experience with these missiles coming down. And we just pray for peace and better days ahead. And we thank you for joining us. Thank you, Yigal Carmon,
Thank you,
the
David.
founder and president of MEMRI, the Middle East Media Research Institute, MEMRI.org. Go in there, see all their translated videos, and there you'll see what the intelligence agencies are looking at and really make a decision to support them. They do incredible work. And thank you. We'll see you next
David.
Thursday. We'll be back with another webinar, Thursday, 3 p.m. Israel time. God bless you from Jerusalem.
Thank you for joining us today. Join us again next Thursday at 3 p.m. Be sure to subscribe and follow us on our social media platforms for more exclusive ICEJ content.